Hello everyone, welcome back to Touch the Fire Twice. I'm Joshua and I'm here today to do an in-depth sniff review on the Bath & Body Works Pumpkin Snickerdoodle candle. But first, if you are new to Touch the Fire Twice, welcome. My mission here is to share my love and passion for fine home fragrance as an enthusiast, an educator, a reviewer, to inspire you to increase your own fragrance knowledge and understanding, ultimately enhancing the scent memories that you create. If you want to learn more about what I do, why I do it, and how I do it, you can check out my website at TouchTheFireTwice.com. Please do also give me a follow over on Instagram, also at TouchTheFireTwice, and subscribe here. But for now, let's dig into Pumpkin Snickerdoodle. So this candle has been around for quite some time. I'm not sure when it first appeared. I know just when a quick Google search, it looks like it at least was out in 2020, if not earlier than that. It may even be back from like the 2015 pumpkin candle collection, back in 2013 to 2015 when pumpkin candle collections started to really blow up at Bath & Body Works. This is actually the first time I've ever purchased it. I'd sniffed it in the past and it felt very inconsequential. Like, there are so many bakery fragrances, Bath & Body Works, and I only like a handful of them. And there are so many pumpkin, insert name here, candles at Bath & Body Works where most of them don't actually have a pumpkin scent. At best, a pumpkin spice, which is typically just a blend of cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, maybe a little bit of allspice, maybe a little bit of ginger if you're lucky. But most of the time, there's not really like that gourd flesh, pumpkin in there. There's maybe 4 or 5 candles that have true sort of a pumpkin fragrance to them. And they nearly all have some spice in them as well, which is fairly understandable. That is, what people expect in autumn. I recently did a review on Apple Crisp, same collection here, just sort of that hand-drawn colored pencil artwork that is kind of very classic, autumnal, little like New England Americana style. And as you can see, I've burned through this quite a bit. It's got a little bit of, some wildness going on with the wicks and things like that, where it gets a little bit sooty on the edges here because it does get a really strong burn. But it's performed up until this point quite well. Not a whole lot of discoloration and really good strength throw and projection. Getting ahead of myself, but let's look at the notes. We simply have warm sugar cookies, ground cinnamon, and fresh nutmeg. What I will say, first of all, Snickerdoodles are my favorite. I love cookies. That's probably my favorite baked good. And Snickerdoodles are potentially my favorite cookie, though I do love anything with oats in them, and Snickerdoodles do not have oats. What makes Snickerdoodles so unique are a couple of things. I think most people just assume or believe, oh, it's a sugar cookie with cinnamon, or it's rolled in cinnamon. True, but that's not what makes it a Snickerdoodle specifically. Very specifically, a couple of things that are characteristic of Snickerdoodles is they're going to be somewhat chewy. They're not really the crispy, dry style cookies, and they don't spread a lot. And so typically that means they're going to be a mixture of either shortening and butter or just shortening. The recipe I use from America's Test Kitchen, which is really kind of one of the best sources for recipes in my opinion, because they are scientifically tested 20, 50, 70 times, both technique and ingredients, to really make sure that if you're gonna spend your time and effort on this, it's going to be really, really well, like some of the, one of the best versions of whatever it is that you're making. And that's really important for baked goods as well, because frankly, a lot of the mommy blogs out there, the recipes may or not be good. It's the story of it, it's whatever. I'm not gonna waste my time most of the time on that sort of thing. I really want a source that's gonna really provide the ideal version of something. And so America's Test Kitchen is great for that. This is not an ad, not sponsored by America's Test Kitchen, but I am a big fan and subscriber of theirs. And in their Snickerdoodle recipe, they clarify that it really needs a mixture of butter for the flavor that you want and shortening, because shortening doesn't have water, butter has water. And so if there's a butter in a cookie, it will spread, and then it is more likely to sort of dry out or get crispy over time, versus if the shortening does not have water, so it doesn't spread as much, and it's gonna maintain that moist, chewy texture that oil maintains in baked goods versus just butter. And the other sort of secret ingredient in Snickerdoodles is cream of tartar. Now, cream of tartar is that white powder. It's not actually cream or dairy-based at all. It is actually tartaric acid. Similar to baking powder or baking soda, it is a leavening agent. And the recipe I use actually calls for a bit of baking soda and cream of tartar. What the cream of tartar does is 2 things. One, it creates that characteristic tang that you get in a Snickerdoodle. So that is the, I'd say, primary difference between just a sugar cookie rolled in cinnamon sugar. Cream of tartar adds that little bit of tang that you get in your good Snickerdoodles, but then also because you have the baking soda and the cream of tartar, which both are leavening agents, it really helps that ball cookie that you put down there puff up quickly, spread a bit, and then fall, and that creates those characteristic cracks, as you can see here, in a Snickerdoodle. So when you think of, okay, you've got cream of tartar for the tang, for that lift to get the cracks, and you have a mixture of butter and shortening so that it doesn't spread too much, get too flat, and also is gonna be chewy, that is the ideal perfect Snickerdoodle. So this is not a cooking channel, but I wanted to make very clear, because most folks probably don't realize that, exactly what a Snickerdoodle is. Pumpkin, leave that part out. That has nothing to do with it. In this case, it's just the marketing side of it. And even in the notes, they just say sugar cookies, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Snickerdoodles traditionally don't include nutmeg, but they probably didn't want to say sugar cookies and cinnamon, and that's it. But they could have said sugar crystals. Getting my nose on it, when I tell you the thing I love about a good bakery fragrance, I have talked about this a lot. I can go conceptual, I can go woody, I can go truly bakery, but I'm not a person who just wants to like swim in bakery all day long. It's more like, oh, it's morning time, I'm having my coffee. Let me just light a Snickerdoodle candle for an hour, right? But what I love about, or what makes me love a bakery candle is authenticity. So often you'll get a muffin or a crumble or cake, and they could be named one of 10 different things. And it's really just the name is based on the marketing alone. In this case, this truly smells specifically like a Snickerdoodle. It is really, you smell the tang, that mild tang that you get from the cream of tartar in a true Snickerdoodle. And that slight sort of like chewiness to it. It is so authentic that I actually baked Snickerdoodles a week or two ago, and truly this smelled exactly like the cookie that I was eating. And so I think that is so impressive that not only did they just use one of their traditional sugar cookie bases like their Mary cookie or Santa's cookies or the peppermint sugar cookie candle, which has been so popular the past couple of years in their holiday collections of Bath & Body Works, but there's something in this that makes it specifically Snickerdoodle, which I appreciate sort of the truth in advertising on that as well. And I'm impressed with the fact that they were able to make a very nuanced small thing that makes a Snickerdoodle show up in fragrance, because frankly, there are times that there are things that should be easy, like, I don't know, a brownie or something, and it just smells like chocolate cake, not a brownie, right? So it's impressive sort of from the scientific side for me as well, that they were able to really nail the tanginess of a Snickerdoodle cookie. And of course, the cinnamon, that's not too hard to land, but they did it well. It's not a red hot cinnamon, though it could very well be a cassia or Vietnamese cinnamon versus a Ceylon true cinnamon. It's soft, it's not red hot. There's a sweetness of that sugar crystals that it's rolled in, but not cloying. It is just truly an exact interpretation of a Snickerdoodle. And I don't know why I didn't notice that in the past when I sniffed it. I just kind of passed it over and thought, whatever, I have other sweet fragrances. I don't need that many bakery fragrances. This year I've gotten a couple more, as you've seen in my other reviews, partially because I know that that's what folks want to hear about. And I figured, okay, let me, see if there is some good hype to it. And things like the pumpkin s'mores and apple crisp and pumpkin Snickerdoodle all kind of hit the mark on authenticity, interesting, and good performers. So it really works out for that, let's call it the morning burn. Now, the only other candle that I really could compare this to as far as similarity in notes really would be the Cinnamon Spiced Vanilla, aka Cinnamon Sugar Donut from 2011 Slack & Co era. It has been Cinnamon Spiced Vanilla for at least probably the past 4 or 5 years after they kind of dropped the donut moniker on it, so that could be a bit more of almost a year-round fragrance sometimes. Notes on this, of course, fresh ground cinnamon, sugar crystals, and Tahitian vanilla bean. They leave out the fact that it is a cake donut, though on the original candle that was there, and when you smell it, that is still there. This smells very much like a cake donut, sort of when you're at a pumpkin patch or an apple orchard, when they have those, maybe conveyor belt of hot, sometimes cider donuts. Not always, this doesn't have any apple or cider to it, but they have those cinnamon sugar donuts, and they drop in the hot oil, they come out, they're crusty, they're cakey, vanilla in the middle, that's the Tahitian vanilla bean, and then they're, with that hot oil, rolled in cinnamon sugar, similar to the Snickerdoodle. So you would imagine this could be very, very similar, but I don't want to exaggerate, but I was gonna say they could not be more different. Well, they could be more different, but when it comes to the fact that they are both straightforward as far as notes go, just like cinnamon, sugar, bakery, they're quite different. That is a true Snickerdoodle with the tanginess of the cookie. And this, though it doesn't say donut, of course it very much is, you have that cake donut, it's hot out of the oil, rolled in cinnamon and sugar. Not actually as sweet though, I think, as some sort of the sugar you get in the pumpkin Snickerdoodle. I think they have sort of watered this down over the years. It's not quite as impressive or intoxicating or sweet, I feel like, as it once was. It could be that we just have other blends and this one kind of just falls by the wayside, or it could be that they've tweaked the formula a bit over the years, similar to what they've done to, say, Cranberry Woods, where it kind of became a watered down version of what it once was when it was first introduced in the late 2000s. Sipping this also, though this performs well, and this one is from this year, this from last year, 2023 pour, it performs fairly well when it burns, but it's not very strong. Even when I have it lit, it's not super strong. And usually this candle is, I'd say, medium to medium high, like a 6 or 7 performer. Even smelling it now, it's a bit muted. You can smell what it is, but it's not really a powerhouse, versus this pumpkin Snickerdoodle, I take the lid off and it smells exactly what it should be, and it has a really great strength throw and projection. So wildly enough, if this one continues to be sort of a mid performer as it is, this is actually maybe my new go-to when it comes to a cinnamon bakery item from Bath & Body Works year over year. So hopefully this is always going to maintain its quality and be this good. Please tell me, as this is my first time really paying much attention to it, and it's been around for years, has it always been this good? Has it always been this authentic? Am I just super late to the game? Is this a fan favorite and I haven't really realized it? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this or anything else that I may be missing if I missed this one along the way. And let me know if you have any questions, and until next time, take care.